Hey guys, well it's about dark 30 and just wanted to do a little quick catch-up video about the Dart, and we've had a good day today with it. Made a lot of progress, so before it gets too dark to see anything, I'll run through some things here. It's nice and quiet out finally, so to speak, and I'll tell you what we got going. Spent most of the day working on electrical things, but the first thing I was going to do was work on this throttle linkage over here, which attaches to the side of the carburetor. That's what I've made a video about before. It's for your transmission. Some people incorrectly call it a kick down, but the problem with this is I quickly realized that I've got, I thought it was out here, I must have put it back inside, but I've got several pieces of these linkages that absolutely don't go to a car. That's the problem, is that sometimes you don't know what's what. You don't know if you got truck pieces or big block pieces or small block pieces or whatever, you know. So quickly realized that was not going to work with what I have, so I've got to come up with some other pieces for that to get that to work. So I shifted my attention off of that, and next thing I did was, I say it's quiet, it's never really quiet here until nighttime, but put this antenna, took it all the way back out. It was kind of over like this, the base was, so I went through and put that back in. The fender was kind of bent under here a little bit, so I straightened that out with a rubber hammer, and now this is all back together, and that looks good. And you see the wipers are on and in position, and they work now. What the problem was with that was very simple. Back here, if you can see here, you see up at the top of that wiper motor there's a little tag right there with the parts tag, and then you see there's like a little, looks like that's a ballast resistor, and that little metal piece right there that runs over to the can't see now, but let me back out some. This is an awesome camera. Come on, piece of crap. There we go. Anyway, it attaches under one of those bolts right there. You got 3 bolts, let me see. Yeah, 3 bolts to hold the motor on back there. And it fits under that one at the top right there. And what happened was, I was just taking my multimeter and just started checking around to see where I had power and ground and all that. Well, that's the ground strap, but I had no ground. I had ground at the bolt, but I did not have ground over at the motor there in the center where that small little bolt is. And that's a good idea they had there, I think. They use that one bolt to hold down the ground strap and the ID tag and the ballast resistor. That's a good idea. So anyway, once I fixed that, the wipers worked fine, so I put those all together and started working around with the lights and everything. And the only thing, I've got all the lights working on it now. The only thing that does not work, besides I got one that's broken here, but the only thing that's not one to play nice is this left hand directional signal receptacle. What happened was, let me give you a little bit of quick info on these. For some strange unexplained reason, it's not even rational, but this is what we're talking about. This is a receptacle here, and I've cut part of this off. This has a plug on it. Each of these cars, you can see it right in there. That's one of them, but it has 2 of these, and that's what the parking light goes into, and the turn signal. And for whatever reason, they decided that a Plymouth Valiant of any year like this needs one of these that bolts in like that, bolts to the back of the grill. But if it's a Dart, it uses one that screws in like this, like this one. See, you can tell they're quite a bit different. So ended up I was missing one of the correct little pigtails with a light receptacle on it for over here. So what I did was, I had you can hardly see it, it's getting a little dark, but had a spare harness. Did not go to one of these, but it had the correct receptacles to screw in, so I made one up for the right side and it works fine. But this one over here, I've tried 2 different ones, and one of them I had one light work and one wouldn't. The park light would work and the turn signal wouldn't. So it's not wanting to play too nice so far, so we need to be working on that more. But got all the exterior lights working. Let's see, I got the interior lights working now, and what I had to do here was, at first, the door light switch, little hickey right there, you can't hardly see it, it's too dark, but it was there, but I took it out and it was all corroded, so I cleaned it up and worked on it and got it working again. So, and got all the dash lights working, and even got the console light working. And you guys were asking me about this dash. I think Ben was asking me. The dash has come together really nice. 200% improvement. So we'll take another shot at that. I got a little bit more work to do with the dash, but let's see if it's dark enough to see any lights in here yet. Yeah, so they're not bright anyway, but maybe I can get them to brighten or go all the way out now. That's probably what'll happen. So those, light in the radio, got a little light that's in the console here. So alrighty. Jeez, okay. Hey, don't mess with Texas. And let's see, what else? Yeah, I got one working there. Oh yeah, I took this took this blower motor out and unseized it. It was real tight and sticky, so that seems to be working good. I took it out and put some lube in it, and also known as PP Blaster. That's a sealed motor. You probably can take it apart, but not easily. And I wasn't going to do that, so there's an access hole, so that's what I did, right or wrong. And ran it for a while out here, just sitting on the front of the car, and it loosened up and seems to be doing great now. So we'll go in there and demonstrate that if you want to. I have to charge this battery a little bit. I've been using it a whole lot. Let's see. Yeah, I left the key in there. Blowing leaves. Okay, guys. Well, hope you've enjoyed the little update there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Well, you know, I was thinking about this. You know, Musty One just put that single cabin together, and you noticed he had ordered a lot of parts for it, but then at one point he finally just had to break down and go to one of these guys that's just collected these parts up over the years, and that's what's probably going to happen with this. I've got a couple pieces of wiring harness and some odds and ends and things that they just don't reproduce anymore, so I'll have to, I know a guy that's like I think I already told you, but he's up north of here. He's probably got it, so I'll get in touch with him and maybe take a little road trip up there and get that going for me. But there we go. I'll tell you a little story real quick. Talk about those leaves blowing. Back when I was just got out of high school and started college, my best friend, he didn't have a car. He was driving. This is how old I am now. First thing he started driving was they had a no, I guess that was it until he got his own car. He drove like one of those unibody Ford trucks, and he drove it for a little while. Then his great grandmother had a 71 Dodge Demon, which is just this car, but no V8 or anything. It's just what happened was there was a Demon for 2 years, and then Chrysler caved in to pressure from the religious groups that didn't like that name, so they renamed the Demon the Dart Sport, and that's how it got to be a Dart Sport. But anyway, he had a Demon, and it was a 71, and it was the same color as this car here exactly. And just like this car, it was just a bone stock slant six with an automatic, and that was about it. And he drove that car every day to school, which was about 25 miles one way, so about 50 miles a day. I think it was 3 days a week he went to school in it. So we carpooled back and forth together. And that car, when he started driving it in 1990, it had 57,000 miles on it. And it was reliable. But one of the funny things about it was that you heard those leaves blowing. That car had a bunch of leaves get in the, they get down in the, so they get down in those vents on the top right there, and they kind of collect up in the heater box. So his car would do that. To have the heat on or something, and it would blow leaves out and stuff, and you'd all the time hear him in there against the fan motor making a noise and breaking loose and stuff. But one of the funniest things was the car had no air conditioning. I think it had an add-on air conditioner that didn't work at that point. But anyway, it's like this Plymouth here. It has these boxes under the corners of the dash that you open up for fresh air, and they're big old boxes. And I remember the first time we opened one of those things up going down the road, and I mean, it blew leaves and junk and pine needles all over the inside of that car. We looked like we'd been out there rolling in it. Just funny as heck. So anyway, but he drove that car. He actually ended up getting in a wreck with it a 3 years later and totaled it, unfortunately. But it was a pretty good car. It was fun times. He was all the time having water leaks, all the time having coolant leaks. Coolant leaks and problems with the carburetor was the main problems they ever had with it. Otherwise, it's pretty sound. So, okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna clean up and go in and all that stuff here. So I'll cut this off. I hope you tune in again next time. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.